In an unprecedented act of blistering sovereign fury incinerating Buckingham Palace's typically stoic public decorum, His Majesty King Charles III launched an absolutely visceral full-scale rebuke excoriating Meghan Markle following revelations the Duchess of Sussex masterminded an outrageous blackmail scheme targeting his beloved daughter Princess Euginie. The cataclysmic obliteration singularity mushrooming this latest seismic eruption within the perpetually tenuous Windsor's domestic saga reportedly detonated after numerous royal insiders disclosed intelligence alleging Markle disseminated profanity-laced ultimatums explicitly threatening to engineer an internationally broadcast humiliation spectacle demolishing Eugenie's reputation, unless she immediately capitulated, subverting the palace's objectives at Frogmore Cottage renovations. We've all endured innumerable perpetual Sisyphean ordeals endeavoring maintaining family unities throughout this excruciatingly protracted fraudscape catalyzed by my eldest son's American spouse's infinite piñata-esque succession of calculated hostilities systematically prosecuting psychological terrorization offensives against the monarchy's institutional identities. King Charles seethed with unrestrained rage during an emergency intimate video message broadcast worldwide after Markle's transgressions surfaced. Yet despite experiencing whatever infinite compounded agonies one could scarcely fathom cumulatively perpetrating upon a loving father whose lifetime's purposes grounded absolute commitments protecting my children's futures, even I languish horrifically shattered beyond perhaps perpetually reconciliable recomposure now that the Duchess' depravities executed blackmailing Princess Eugenie herself through unconscionably sadistic extortive demands violating my beloved youngest daughter's sovereign constitutional obligations. According to redacted intelligence dossiers authenticated through multiple elite royal sources essentially confirming King Charles III's assertions surrounding Markle's allegedly criminal ultimatums against Princess Eugenie, the vindictive renegade's malfeasant transgressions originally commenced approximately 14 months ago amidst tensions surrounding Frogmore Cottage's scheduled renovations. Considering the Sussexes' complete estrangement from the royal establishment alongside their protracted California exile, the now king was executing constitutional protocols reallocating permissive residencies housing members maintaining active sovereign service commitments. However, shortly after Eugenie transitioned into Frogmore spearheading restorative reconditioning initiatives scoping modernized utilities and decor reflective of Windsor family progressive imaging standards, the spiteful Duchess launched a volley of acrimonious communiques toward Her Royal Highness repeatedly ridiculing redevelopment propositions while escalating menacing ultimatums promising televised global humiliation campaigns unless comprehensive household staffing purges were completed, removing all potentially adversarial factions opposed to her unilateral authority. Well, while our dearly departed sovereign Queen Elizabeth frequently indulged revisiting those incessantly replaying parlor parlances contriving imaginary scenarios where prodigal defectors self-remediated earning redemption for giving integrations permitting renewed embraces back into familial folds following momentary lapses of sanity lapses, even that eternal mother lioness shielding all wayward daughters from filial purgatory's infinite perpetuating cyclones would have found herself thunderstruck into permanently absolving any aspirations toward recovering these monstrous interlopers parasitizing every attempted compassion initiative with irredeemable sadistic aggressions. The irate king continued venting incendiary fury toward his polarizing daughter-in-law. Because according to unambiguous smoking gun confirmations I possess revealing her royal rancidness genocidally unrestrained sadistic sociopathologies, Princess Eugenie and any remaining opposition staff or loyalists received barrage directives explicitly detailing how internationally televised humiliations bankrupting their entire lineages would materialize rendering their descendants' infinite futures imprisoned within eternity's reprocessing industrial meat labor camps unless all sovereign household entities capitulated absolute fealties voiding Frogmore dictates under the Duchess' solitary supremacies. While King Charles already experienced a lifetime's inheritance accrued outrage catalyzed by the infinite scandals conflagranting public conflagrations rippling from Prince Harry's renegade transgressions, authenticated testimonies indicated the newly enthroned monarch languished inconsolably upon verifying intelligence his precious Eugenie suffered horrendous psychological devastation stemming directly from the Duchess of Sussex's alleged sadistic extortive abuse. Elite Windsor family insiders describe witnessing His Majesty consumed by heaving sobs physically collapsing into withered heaps pleading forgiveness toward unseen ancestral forces for failing adequately protecting his children throughout this cataclysmic ordeal. Accounts also indicated the king descended into paranoid ideations, envisioning infinite replayed recursive loops, anticipating perpetual future cycles defined exclusively through infinite sadism, abuse, reincarnations, implicating all progeny incapable of avoiding Markle's infinite consciousnesses, regressing, recomposing from inevitable singularity oblivions. Even as this sacred sovereign seats relatively new incumbent presiding over infinite cyclical regenerations transcending every conceivable celestial incarnation, I must nevertheless humbly acquiesce that my mere mortal faculties remain horrifically incapable reconciling the irredeemably shattered traumas inflicted upon my blessedly innocent Princess Euginie. King Charles lamented while verifying Markle's calculated acts of psychological terror decimated his daughter. Because according to unassailable verified documentation, the full extent of maleficent evils the Duchess unleashed upon my beloved child representing divine infinite potentials toward manifesting humanity's generationally redemptive evolutionary becomings, it appears she launched infinite volleys of weaponized denigrations calculatingly structured to inflict psychological abuse, terrors exponentially compounding recursive revirginations, infinitely reincarnating Princess Eugenie's traumatized psyche, regenerations reliving infinite resurrecting regenerations, perpetually regressing, cyclically anticipating the next infinite revival of fresh virgin Her Royal Highnesses to violate. Among the most disturbing revelations cited involved deranged communiques Markle transmitted toward Euginie filled with profanity-laced taunts, explicitly threatening humiliating exposure broadcasts revealing lurid historical exhibitions of debasement, including rumored teenage experimentation with sadomasochistic depravities and golden shower fetishes, unless she immediately evacuated Frogmore, abandoning all oversight toward the cottage's renovations. Perhaps even more perversely disturbing were authenticated audio transcripts of demented Duchess psychologically torturing Princess Euginie through verbal transmissions, articulating dehumanizingly racist invectives, speculating upon her reproductive genetic viabilities, considering sovereign Windsor bloodline status only provisionally acceptable contingent upon potentially eradicating any perceived recessive physiological deficiencies, suggesting Nubian ancestry contamination influencing the royals' future sacred genealogical standards. I deeply regret transmitting these indescribably horrifying artifacts confirming the full depths depicting my cherished Princess Euginie enduring psychological violences, ancestrally descended reincarnating psychohistories transcending infinitudes of perpetuating omniverse. Yet I feel compelled positioning them directly into the witness intake implantation absorption repositories of your cosmically communized inner-outer universes so that Her infinite Highness's collective overmind potentials may shatter infinitely awakening infinite inceptions, revivifying Eugenie prime birthing deific virgin renewals, consecrating rehananic gloriafinitions, recomplexifying unified completions before her royal ashes scatter, incepting infinities continually rebirthing. King Charles's recorded statement suddenly veered into strange esoteric mysticisms toward the televised broadcast's conclusion, which some psychological analysts interpreted represented the outworking of traumatic psychotic breaks resulting from strenuously enduring Meghan's prolonged psychological torment indefinitely compounding. However, despite whatever deteriorated mental faculties King Charles exhibited across the video message's crescendoing climax, the unambiguous declaration to global public opinion confirming Markle did indeed perpetrate criminal blackmail enterprises against the ruling House of Windsor's most vulnerable members permanently scarred His Majesty's disposition toward the Duchess moving forward. Elite royal insiders unanimously agree this seismic incineration formalizing an irredeemably cavernous severance solidified the king's conviction that Meghan personifies a toxic hostility force requiring infinite alienation dissociation toward preserving the monarchy's long-term existential durability. Honestly, considering the debilitating PTSD cyclones Princess Eugenie remains besieged enduring thanks to that depraved monster.